Okay, we actually went on to page Kuf Aleph. We will start on the second line on Kuf Aleph, where he discusses the union from Gvul and Tchum.
Gvul and?
Tchum.
Tchum, what is Tchum?
You know Tchum? Tchum Shabbos. Tchum. Boundary.
What?
Boundary.
Boundary.
Okay, there's a principle that I wanted to incorporate over here in this explanation of the spheres. We're saying that there are 10 spheres, starting from Chochmah, and then we already learned. We started also on page Kuf Aleph that the oir is mismai, the oir is reduced in order to provide for the appearance of the lower spheres and so forth. So I wanted to get an insight over here. Why lower spheres and why higher spheres? What is the principle that there are 10 spheres? If you have Chochmah, what do you need the lower sphere for? And the principle that is expressed in the union that there are 10 spheres, from Chochmah on down to Malchus, and then it repeats itself again, Chochmah should be Malchus and so forth, is that what is the function? What is spheres means illumination. What does spheres illuminate? What light do they bring out? Spheres are the means by which Atzmus or Hashem reveals himself into the world. So the principle of spheres is bringing Elokus, in general terms, further out, ultimately into worldliness and ultimately into Olam Haza Agashmi. What is, I just wanted to say, this is already a little step further. There are many qualities that we identify in Elokus. Like we said, Chochmah, Bina, Das, and so forth. All inyonim that we identify in Elokus are also to be found, of course, in different scale and different level, but it's to be found in the creature, in the creation, in the human being. The human being is B'tzalmenekid Museinu. He also has 10 kochos that approximate the 10 spheres. In other words, you can find similarities of all inyonim in Elokus within the created environment. All but one thing. The principle of the creation of Yesh Mei Ayin. This is exclusively b'cheik habeirei, and it is not b'cheik hanivra.
Cheik, ja.
Huh?
Cheik.
Cheik. Cheik means within the realm, within the comprehension.
Ja.
The Nivra does not understand what Yesh Me'ayin is.
Cheik haberen en cheik, ja.
Cheik habeirei, Beirei the creator, and Nivra is the created. We always point out, quoting the RAMBAM, the first principle is to know that there is a first being. When we stop to think of the meaning of these words, it boggles the mind. We do not understand what these words mean. What does it mean there's a first being? In our orientation, at first, everything has a cause. If we say it's there was something that preceded its being there. This is why it's there. Then we have a first being. A first being is not within the realm of relation, of comprehension of the created world, of the created entity. We can understand Chokhmah, we can understand Bina, we can understand Das, Chesed, Gvura, all these things. But this element remains ultimately the Beirei himself. The initiator always remains the Beirei. In order, the Beirei is not begrudging to the creation all of his greatness. And he wants that the creation should appreciate and should, so to speak, experience everything that he has. And in order to present and to grant the creation those phenomenal greatnesses, all the way down to the union of a Beirei, he created 10 spheres. These 10 spheres, as they chain down from Chokhmah into Bina, all the way down to Malchus. To whatever degree we already spoke about Malchus a little bit. In a very simple terms.
To remain on this call, press 1.
The meaning of a Malchus or a Melech, this is, so to speak, the grant of the Creator to His world. That there is need for Malchus in the world. Malchus Beis David, and so it's Vayeshev David al Kisei Hashem. He's sitting al Kisei Hashem, on Hashem's throne. Because in fact Malchus is a Beirei quality. Where does a Malchus represent the Beirei quality more than any other spheres? So we had Shalom for this. I just want to make the statement, which I think everybody will readily understand and relate to. The principle of a Melech, A melech conducts wars. He rules over countries, continents. And what does he do in order to do that? The answer is nothing. He's just being a melech. This inyan, that there is such a thing as being a melech, just being a melech, and thereby, so to speak, creating a whole melucha. Is a so to speak, is a principle, koyach haboirei, in the creation. But with this type of thing, you say, and maybe she may say, Hu Omar Vayehi, Hu Omar Vayehi. He said, and there was. The first day of creation says, let there be light. And there was light. Did he create light? Let there be light. By his very presence, everything is there. This is Yashmei Ayin. This quality he had bestowed to his creation via the 10 sphirot all the way down to Malchus. Because that it ultimately has to represent the phenomenal truth of the Boire himself. The creation has to ultimately represent the phenomenal truth of the Boire himself. That it should be recognized within the creation, all those qualities. This is why there is Chokhmah, and then Chokhmah reduces its oil in order to allow for Bina to surface, and then Bina allows for Das and so forth, on all these spheres, all the way down to the very end is Malchus, which is the end of all and the beginning of all. There's obviously much to speak about in this realm. Just wanted to put in perspective what we are learning over here so that we understand the significance of these words. We're saying that the sphirot is Esers, but the Mida is B'chinas Ein Sof. What does that mean? The Mida is B'chinas Ein Sof. So we get a mashal for this. What is the B'china of Ein Sof that is represented in the Mida? Again, back to the same inyan that we discussed now. By a human being we say chesed, kindness, is a response to a situation. There's a person in need, and that arouses compassion. And that results in the middle of chesed. In other words, chesed has an application at the moment when it gets created. It's created within a circumstance of application. What am I limiting over here? The human being does not have the element of creating AYIN, of chesed, without a recipient. Chesed surfaces when there is a recipient of chesed.
There's no theoretical kindness. There's only practical kindness.
That's right. Practical, not only practical,
Applied.
it's aroused by the practical situation.
As if to say it's not even existing until there's a need for it.
Mm-hmm. This principle I said, but the Rambam says, these are words that are really endless words. Motzui Rishon. Motzui Rishon is exclusively within the realm of the Creator.
So is that saying that any so-called human spheros are just applications, not...
I don't know what the word just applies there. It's not just, it's a great thing.
Mm. We went from the specific...
But 1 second, to correctly prejudice this. The reason he has spheres, he has midas, is because he was created to be in the world. He was not created to be a standalone entity. What was the first instruction that a human being got? Even though it was created by Tzalmenik, it must say, yeah, he approximates a creator. But his approximation of the creator is qualified. There's a world in which you have to function. If not for that world that was created prior to your coming to it, there is no true human presence. Like we said many times, a house is not a home. A house is a non-entity. When this house, it's a very important phenomenon to understand. Real estate prices are fluctuating tremendously, but really, for a little place that you can hardly put an apartment in. Depending where it is. If it is in Manhattan, you can pay $1 million. If it's in the suburb, people move out to the suburbs because you can buy it for pittance. Because these values are relative to the environment when they are. They're not absolute values. They don't create their own value. They're circumstantial. This is how things are in the entire creation. Even the human being himself, who is mamash, b'tzalmenik musayim. Yet still, he also depends on the circumstance.
So we use the example of kindness, but really we're saying all of the human faculties, including sechel, is sort of reactive, or it's just about application. We'll take out the word just, but it's about application. It's not unto
again, application you can also qualify. There has to be what to know prior to knowing. This what to know is provided by the Creator. By His own presence. But still, it is provided for. Mertzidishin is exclusively in Chek HaBoire. As a result. So there, and I said that the Boire does not begrudge his creation, his qualities. So he created spheres where the creation can understand all kinds of different things, know all kinds of different things. But he doesn't stop at that. He goes all the way down to Malchus. What's Malchus? Malchus is replicating in the creation the Boire. The quality of the Boire. Because in the worldly environment, like you said, its application. In the worldly environment, the only thing that happens is that which you make. You have to go what's called koyach hapoel benifal. Koyach hapoel benifal means the koyach of the actor benifal in that which of the builder in that in which he builds. If you have a table, you see the koyach of the builder of this table. Koyach hapoel benifal. This is how things are in the creation. The only one who can create without investing koyach hapoel benifal is the Creator himself.
And the king.
Excuse me?
And the king.
And the king. The Gemara says, regarding the king, Omar Malko, Okar Tura. The Gemara, Omar Malko, Okar Tura means that the Malach says, the mountain gets uprooted. Thus, this gives us a little bit of an understanding why the opposite, the Chochmah, gives room for Bina, and Bina gives room for other spheres and so forth, the Chesed and Gvura, because there is an overwhelming quality that goes along with that none of them capture. Chochmah is great. Chochmah realizes, but this is not the whole thing. Let me try what Bina has to say. And it goes all the way on, down to Malchus. All right, we're going to first start to learn this. Just wanted to introduce the whole topic, the whole phenomenon of spheres to understand, and why the upper sphere so limits its own air in order to allow for the lower sphere to surface. So we'll start on the second line on page Kuf Aleph. These are very, very difficult things to expose and to explain. We will try, whatever we can find a means to explain. B'inyan ha'gvul u'tchum, the principle of Gvul and Tchum. Yisha b'likutei Torah behabir the b'yord ha'gvul. We can find it in Likutei Torah. That's Likutei Torah from the Alter Rebbe. in the biur when he explains of the mimer of Yorad HaGvul. In the Kutetera, there is the Maimorim, and then there is the biur Hanal. This is the biur of Yorad HaGvul. Shehu inyan echut. So he says in the Kutetera that Gvul and Tchum are inyan echut. It's really one inyan. If it's one inyan, why are there two terms? Two terms referring to the same inyan. What does it mean? What can be said about this? We can apply some kind of an explanation to this. The gvul, that the word gvul, hu hagbola, that refers to the hagbola, the limit, be'ofen hagilui. Be'ofen hagilui, in the manner that the gilui comes. In beribui or b'miut. And what is the oifen hagilui? What are the variations in oifen hagilui? Ribui or miut. Increase or decrease. A lot or less. Now we say Hagbola ba'ofen hagilui. This Hagbola ba'ofen hagilui said ba'ofen hagilui. What is the manner in which it gets revealed? When you say Hagbola, a limit, if it's an intrinsic limit, this is where it ends. So the word limit, Hagbola, does not apply. Hagbola is a verb. Hagbola is an active limitation. If this is where it ends, then you have to limit it. Hagbola b'ofen hagilui means no. The gilui comes from an essential, from etzem, and therefore the gilui can be megala in the etzem that cannot even be comprehended.
I don't get this. Hagbala is the same shorish as gvul, which is a border, a limit. What was said? It's a verb, not a noun. I don't get.
Okay, okay, good. Okay. We learned a couple of pages back, maybe a couple of months ago, the Rebbe says, what is kiruv? Kiruv mokim. So give a mashal for kiruv mokim. What is the mashal for kiruv mokim? When a great sage speaks to a simple person, to an average person, and he speaks excessively to him. He speaks to him more than is becoming so for the stage, so to speak. And this excessive speaking is not reflective of what this simple person can understand, because there's a limit to what he can understand. But he continues to speak to him. And this continuing to speak to him is to impress upon him that the sage really wants to relate to him, even though there's a limit to what he can understand.
Okay, so that's to illustrate Hagbala b'ofen hagilui.
That's right. Once the sage had stated the point that he wants to say, there's nothing more to say. So no, there's more to say. There's more to say, and even more to say.
Uh-huh. And that's to illustrate this sort of limitation for the sake of revelation.
That's right, ultimately. This is a superimposed limitation. Hagbola b'eifan hagimel. This is, okay, I want to start stopping in the right time. Hagol b'eifan hagimel, in beriba yebemiut. Whether the eifan hagil is what is hagbol? Hagbola means, what are the boundaries? What are define the gil? The definition of eifan hagil is, there is a migil that's beriba, and there is a gil that's bemiut. So this is gvul. Gvul means it's a superimposed qualifier, limiter to the gili. Not there is nothing more to give. That's not what limits it. What limits it is how I want to reveal it. So this is it for this morning. Have a great day.